All right, now we're gonna get into Marlon Wayans, who gave us some insight recently on why he never got married. Apparently,
Huh?
the reason why he has never been married and he vowed to stay a bachelor for life is because he never wanted another woman to take the place of his mother. So
Whoa.
apparently Marlon vowed to his mother that no woman would ever come before her, and his mother would be his number one woman in his life. And so as a result, that has sort of played a heavy hand in why he never got married.
Wow. That's whoa. Oh, damn, bro.
Yeah, so we'll allow the audience and the people to decide
Oh.
how much they believe this or not. Um, but this article from Complex here says Marlon Wayans again says his mom is the reason he never got married. Never wanted my mother to feel second. Marlon Wayans never wanted his late mother to be jealous of whoever he decided to marry, and for that, he still hasn't wed. Ahead of his upcoming Prime Video stand up special, Good Grief, where he recounts the passing of his parents, Wayans spoke to the New York Times about his reasons for not marrying during his mother's lifetime. Wayans' mom, Elvira Alethea, passed away in July 2020 at 82, just 3 years before the passing of his father, Howell Stoughton Wayans, who was 86. My mother's death broke me. It shattered me into a million pieces because that was my girl, Wayans 51 told the publication. I never got married because I never wanted my mother to be jealous of a woman. I never wanted my mother to feel second to any woman. When pressed by New York Times journalist David Marchese about whether he knew that was the reason, Wayans answered, "Oh, absolutely. That was one of 5 reasons," he continued, "and my mom was very needy. I told my mother on her deathbed, I never got married because I always wanted you to be my number one girl. Those were my last words. I said, take that to heaven with you." The Wayans siblings, including Keenan Ivory Wayans, 65, Damon Wayans, 63, Kim Wayans, 62, and Sean Wayans, 53, have either been married or are currently married. Meanwhile, Marlon Wayans previously declared his bachelor status 1 year after his mother's death. I never got married because I knew my mom needed me, he told Essence in 2021. Women sometimes want to battle for your attention. They want to battle for your love. They want to be the one. Me and my mama share the same birthday. I'm not trying to hear you. So,
Man.
what do you make of this? Are you buying this? What do you think about his comments that he never got married because he wanted his mom to be number one and never have to fight for his affections with another woman?
That's a crazy. That's wild, bro. Like I don't know how to feel about that. I think it's sad if it's true. Um I don't know how you get roped into that one, bro. Cuz I'm all for, loving your parents. I love my parents. So I get that. And by the way, for them to be up there at what 82 and 86, so they lived a good one. So they did their thing. So for him to and for him to know that while things were happening, I could see if this was a hindsight thing where, you know what, I put so much energy in this that I never did that. But if you knew it the whole time, it's the thing where it's like, I don't know how to feel about that. I don't know. I'm not gonna try to tear a man from the love of his mom, but you do have to, as a man, you got to move on and leave the nest. And so, there's nothing wrong with keeping in contact with your mom, visiting your mom all the time, having her move into your house. You could be married and have your mom live with you, but to have some type of whatever this is, whatever energy that they had going on, it feels a slightly not like erotically inappropriate. It was just inappropriate. And I don't think they should have been that level of close, because you can be very close to your mom and not that close. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't get that. So I think that's sad, man, to live your whole life like that and be in a position where everybody knows your name and you're Mr. Celebrity Man, and to not you know, get you a legacy for real because of that, it's kind of wild. I've never heard a case like that, especially from a celebrity. So it's interesting, man. I would have told him to leave the nest, man. I'm all for loving your mama, man. I love my mama, and can't nobody tell me otherwise. But I had to go off to college, and I had to go earn some stripes. So hey, man, it's sorry to hear about his the passing and all, but yeah, man, I think this is a sad case for him. What are your thoughts on Sir Marlon? Not leaving the nest, not leaving his mom's side, therefore not getting married.
Yeah, trying to
Wow.
be sensitive. Yeah, trying to be sensitive to what is very clearly a tremendous love and appreciation for his mother,
Yeah.
which of course I understand and can respect that as well.
Hmm.
But I just, this to me sounds kind of weird. Um, so in that article, he said there's like 5 other reasons, but he also said that that was one of the reasons, and
Hmm.
he emphasized this one as if it was the primary reason.
Hmm.
But I don't know him, so I'm not going to attempt to
Right.
suggest that he's not being truthful or that he's, smidgen or kind of lying. I don't know the guy, right? So, I'm going to assume that there's some truth to his comments. But I will say this, though.
Mm.
We've met. I know people personally.
Hmm.
I have a friend or two who I believe is going to be single his entire life.
Oh shoot.
I have a friend, and I believe that this guy is never going to get married, never going to settle down. He's going to be a single man for the duration of his entire life.
Mm.
Um, if you sit this guy down and you talk to him about relationships, he will give you all of the circumstances and the conditions under which he would get married.
Okay.
Yet, for whatever reason, he never seems to be able to find himself uh, with those conditions at his disposal so that he can make that decision.
Mm.
So if you can say I'll get married under if this and this and this and this lines up, but you are constantly never finding yourself in a position for this and this and this and this to line up ever, then you're just going to be single for the rest of your life. But you'll continue to pay lip service to the idea that if the time and the person and the conditions are right, you will do it.
Mm.
And what I have learned over time is that these guys who talk like this say those things because it's the nice thing to say, but really they don't mean it. They're romanticizing over the idea of settling down, but in their heart of hearts, they don't actually want to. What they want to do is continue to be single so that they don't have to care about anyone but themselves. They don't want to take that next step to be a part of a lifelong partnership. They want to be single forever, and they
Mm.
just want to be able to kind of play the field and be single and just casually meet and date women. But I kind of feel like certain men, are ashamed to admit that openly
Mm.
because it's nicer. It's more morally appropriate to say I am the settle down type, because I guess they feel as though there's a judgment that is passed, that is sort of accorded to them if they are openly admitting that they don't want to be about that life. So therefore they cloak it under the idea that they would settle down and would get married under certain conditions, even though those conditions will never come, because they don't actually want to get married. They don't actually want to settle down. They actually want to be single for the rest of their lives,
Mm.
but they want to be given the benefit of the doubt. So how do they get the benefit of the doubt? By telling you what the conditions under which they would get married are, even though those conditions will never take place. I know several guys who are like this. They romanticize over the idea, even though that day will never come. Now, is that Marlon Wayans? I'm not exactly sure, but I can hear some of those dudes who I know, who I firmly believe will be single for the rest of their lives.
Mm.
I can in a roundabout way hearing them tell me, well, I don't want any woman to come before my mom. Like I can hear them saying that.
I hear that.
I can hear them saying that as one of the rationalizations behind why they continue to live the way that they live. And it's like, hey, bro, you don't gotta justify nothing to me. I'm not here
Yeah.
to judge you. You want
Right.
to be single the rest of your life? Cool, that's perfectly fine. I'm not one of those people. If you feel that people judge you for that, just know I'm not one of those people. I'm not judging you for that. If you want to be single for the rest of your life, that's okay. That's perfectly okay with me. You don't gotta put up a front for me. But you get a lot of these dudes. I know two in particular off the top of my head. I'm not gonna say their name, but they got all the excuse and all of the scenarios in the world under which, if these conditions are met, yeah, man, I'm the marrying type. Bro, you're not. You're not the marriage type. You're not the settled down. You're just not built for it. You're not. And that's okay. That's
Yeah, bro.
okay. And I can hear, and like I said, you get them in a conversation, man, they start waxing poetically about this relationship stuff. They'll tell you, oh, my mom's this and my mom's that. And da-da-da. One of them, he used to bring up his mom a lot when we got on these conversations, not under the not using the exact terms that Marlon used, but in the ballpark. So my thing is, I don't know Marlon Wayans from a can of paint. I just know him from the Wayans brothers, those goofy, scary movies, and some of the other stuff that he's done. So maybe he is being authentic and genuine when he talks like this. But there's also a part of me that says maybe he's just one of those people who will forever romanticize over the idea of being settled down, but that day will never come because he's just really not in actuality built for it.
Yeah, he might be. Either if it's a situation where, again, because this is wild stuff. I mean, it's your mama, but at the same time, dog, like nobody should come in the way of your life, period. And you should be able to, you should learn how to balance the energies that come in and out of your life. You can't let anybody dominate your energy, no matter who they are. And so the part about this that's disappointing is that he's saying that he couldn't do a life goal potentially because somebody else was hogging that space. And that's like not cool. In this context, it just happened to be his mom. And she's happened to pass away. All this is not cool, but it's a situation where it's like, man, bro, like you probably missed out on good parts of life because there wasn't a balance around. And so you could still enjoy your mama, your other loved ones, and everybody else, but there has to be something for you. And so, yeah, man, it just sucks. But I guess the lesson in this is it doesn't have to necessarily be a family member or anything like that or whatever. But I guess the overall lesson, man, is, don't allow anybody to hog up your energy, period. And allow time for yourself to rebalance and get straight and then revisit this person again. There's nothing wrong with that. But once a certain level of energy becomes domineering and they're not your spouse, it's like, hey man, you gotta get the ball rolling. And even if it is your spouse, if it, y'all still need y'all time and space. And if they crowd you and all this other weird stuff, like, balancing energies is a very powerful thing. And so I'm disappointed that somebody with the resources that he has, the siblings that he has, that he got himself caught in a situation where he devoted a lot of energy, in a non-balanced way. So, best of luck to Sir Marlon. His stand-ups I haven't laughed at anything that he does as stand-up, but he's a funny man. The Wayans brothers is top 5 sitcom for me. I can sit down, I can watch episode after episode. That stuff is hilarious. So, the Wayans, the whole family, all of them are cool, man. But, this is a sad situation, man. Sorry, Mr. Marlon, man. But hopefully your show does well, your Netflix special, whatever it is.
Yeah, and to add on to that, I find it hard to believe that his mom was imposing this on him. Like, I don't think his mom was saying, "Hey, son, you need to put no woman before me." Maybe. And again, I don't know. I'm just thinking. I'm thinking of people as reasonable individuals, right? So I'm kind of assuming here that his mom wasn't doing this, that this was something that he imposed on himself.
Possibly, yeah.
Which makes it even more interesting that he came to develop this complex. Because unless your mother is telling you not to settle down because you need to prioritize me over other women, you're kind of doing this to yourself.
Right.
And why do that if she's not imposing this on you?
Correct.
So, it's interesting. They're very interesting comments. I kind of think they're a little left. I think they're a little left. And I think, I don't know him, but I've heard men talk like this before. And I just kind of feel like he may just be somebody who's just built for the single life into perpetuity. And people like that tend to give you various reasons and rationalizations for why they are that way. And that's fine, but the psychology behind it, I think that's where it comes from. Because they ain't gonna say, oh, I want to just be single so that I can just have all my options with women and not be morally constrained because I want to be with as many women as possible. Stuff like that, right? They're not going to say stuff like that, but they'll say stuff like this, and so it just depends on the individual. But I do think that they are interesting comments, but I think more or less he just may be somebody who's just not built for the relationship life. Whether his mom was doing, whether he felt this way about his mom or not, I feel like he may just not be built for it.
Facts. Hey, don't let nobody dominate y'all energy, y'all. But one thing y'all can dominate is that subscribe button. Golly. Make sure you guys leave a like as well, man. We over here every Tuesday night with it.
Yeah, they do. They can't control that energy for sure.